It is 6 o'clock. We're going to call this meeting to order. Brad, if you will, lead us in prayer.
Let's pray. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we give thanks this day, Lord. We thank you for all your many blessings of life, Father. Father, we just pray, Lord, you just be with us tonight, Lord, as we make decisions that regards this county and the citizens in it, Lord. Lord, I pray, Lord, that you would just give us what we need to make the right decisions and do the things that would be pleasing to you, Father. All these things I do ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Next, pledge allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda, approve the minutes for September 21, October the 2nd, and the 13th. I need a motion. I need a second.
Second.
All vote. None opposed. Next, approve financials. I need a motion. Need a second.
Second.
All vote. All vote. No opposed. Next is to approve or deny the ALGA contract to administer CDBG. That's a development block grant on Hatfield Road.
Mr. Chairman, on that road, we had got a grant probably 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, and we paid for the amount of the grant money that we had. When I looked at the package here, it's coming in at $1,112,600, and the grant's only going to be for $500,000. I think that when Hofstadter and Associates wrote it up, they measured for so many miles and did it. I was thinking that we didn't have to have a 10% in-kind work, or either max with 10% of the 500, but it's coming up a lot more than that. And I asked him how, today I talked to his son Chad, not Mr. Carl, he was in a meeting, and he said that it would take up the next 2 years of the LMIG money and the next probably 2 years or 2.5 on the, what we call the discretionary money in the TIA. And I don't see how that we can,
That would be the transportation tax.
yeah, the transportation tax on the discretionary money. Like the Hatton Steel Road and all that, that's already in the tier 2, and it's beginning to get, I mean, not the Hatton Steel, I'm sorry, the Bridgeport. And them's in there, but discretionary money, if we get 25% of whatever the amount of money that comes in, that we can take and use in emergency or places that we need to use it in. And I don't see how as a board that we could take and run out on that limb for the next 2 years, not knowing what's going to happen to the road. Just say that if the Bridgeport hadn't been on there, we'd have been in the mess this year. And so I'm saying this time that we get back with them and tell them that we want them to go as far as we can with the amount of money, and with us doing matching our part of the money we had to, or do in-kind work, hauling dirt and motor grading and stuff, and go as far as we can on it. And I don't think that we need to put taxpayers in jeopardy for us to take and come up with $126,000 more to pay. I'm not even sure how many miles it's supposed to do or where it's supposed to go to.
Well, I think last time we went.
We went as far as the money would go. Yes, sir. And that's what I'm asking the board to do again.
Right.
Now, let's don't take this contract and adopt it that Hofstadter sent. Just get back with them and tell them that we'll go as far as the money goes on the grant.
I think that's all we can do.
Yeah. I put that in a motion.
Second. All vote. Next, to approve, deny agreement for engineering services on Hut Steel.
That would be the contract that Hofstadter wrote up on the engineering, is that correct?
Yes.
And so it would be him on the same thing, if we're going to have that redone.
Need a motion?
I'm making the motion that we deny this one here and let it carry it back to the drawing board and draw it up for the amount of money that we have.
I'll second
All vote. Next, Commissioner Thomas discussed the resolution for the dump sites.
At this time, we'll pass it on down the home to
We're gonna table that one.
I'll make a motion that we table it to a later time.
Second, all vote. Next, Commissioner Pruitt discuss E911 intergovernmental agreement.
it. Yes, you know, at this time, I would like to ask Carla and Gary to find out exactly what we legally can do with this 911 agreement, that so-called agreement that was between the city and the county. Because I have a lot of citizens asking me about it, and I don't know what to tell them, but I know it's been a topic of conversation, and, you know, back when we was going through the redoing of the election contract, you know, they were saying we were breaking the intergovernmental agreement. What I looked at on this appears to be an intergovernmental agreement. I just want to come to a resolution, to have a meeting with the city, or to say we can or we can't do anything about it, and let's move on with it, one way or the other.
It's been a while, I haven't looked at it since I looked at it in the last year before the commissioners came on board. And we can get back with you at the next meeting.
Or if we could set up a meeting with the city, you know, let's talk about this thing, decide where we at, see if we can all work together like we did on the last one with the vote.
I'd like to hear what Carla has to say and what our position is before we schedule a meeting, correct? I think that's-
That's really up to the board, really don't decide where you think, that's what your recommendation is.
You know, I thought we need to go ahead and meet, and we'll work it out, get it over with, see what it's gonna be.
Well, we kinda need to know the legal action standpoint.
We'll have to have that.
Before we do that, she can come up with it.
I will do the contract and then I'll send all of them, instead of time, together.
It's just something that's been faster, and we just need to take care of it one way or another.
And we would,
All right, there you go.
It is or it ain't,
We need a motion on that, or just take care of it?
well, just discussion.
Next, you see in your packets, the road department schedule, all of you has looked over that. Do we need to approve it or deny it? Or y'all need to discuss it?
I don't know where they gonna have 10 hours.
If you want, we tried it before and it didn't work. That's why we still switch it.
Time change.
That's why we started paying. Wayne knows much about it, so.
I've been here 7 years and we've done it, that when the time changes to daylight savings, then we go to 10 hours, 4 10s, and when it goes over to, falls backwards, then we go back to 5 8s. I've had some employees call me that wants to stay on the 10. Some's called me and said the days are shorter, and don't know that they would have time to. We know we don't want them out on the road with the trucks, the tractors, and stuff like that. I can't sit here right now and tell you that I think daylight's gonna be at 7:30, enough daylight for them to leave. We don't need them coming in at the barn and staying there, an hour. I mean, they probably got 20 minutes time they go through the safety and the getting their things, you know, laid out to work that day, but, so, like I say, I've had it both ways. I think that, me personally, that we should go back to the 5 8s. Then if we look and at the time He's got, I know the state does it, but I don't know the state does it on those days when the time changes, I know. But, that we can come back and address it if we see that there are 10 or 11 hours worth of daylight and change it later. But at this time, I think that, we should take and keep on doing it like we used to and go back to 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Beginning with the time change.
When the time changes, yes. That's what we've always, that's been the anniversary date, is whatever they change the time, that's when we change the hours.
So you making a motion to go back to
I make a
the time
motion
change 5 days?
to go back to 5 days, 8 hours a day. And we can come back and address it later if we see that, 10 or 11 hours worth of daylight.
I'll second the motion.
All vote? Nobody opposed? Next was to appoint someone to the Board of Tourism to represent Jeff Davis County. We don't have a name to appoint, do we?
No, we need to run an ad.
We'll table that till we get some names.
Make a motion on that. Let's make a motion to run an ad for anybody interested in Board of Tourism for Jeff Davis County.
All vote?
How long do you normally run, Michelle?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay, just do the same as Jeff.
Next, to discuss J.A. Yon intersection project. All right, in fact,
Is that the one?
Kelly, you want to give us a little information on that, or?
I'll do the best I can. About almost a year and a half ago, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hall, I think you were at the meeting with us when we called DOT.
Yes.
And after the fire that happened out of Thompson Hardwoods a year and a half ago, the traffic flow increased dramatically out at the Beasley plant, given that they had abandoned, warehousing down at Thompson Hardwoods. And it was recognized pretty immediately that that intersection, J. Yon and Uvalde Highway, became a very dangerous intersection. I can tell you, as being a resident right there at that intersection, I hear squalling tires several nights a week. It is a dangerous spot. DOT came in, we had a meeting with them, told them our concern. We showed them a design, and y'all, I apologize, I didn't realize y'all were, I've been in Atlanta today, so I didn't know that y'all were going to be discussing this tonight, but I told Gary I'll give him all the information that we have. When we went out on site, DOT recognized that it was better to do an improvement to the intersection of J. Yon and Uvalde Highway. It was a safer location to do an improvement rather than down at, if you went out the other way from
Right.
That's right, where it intersects at Uvalde Highway, because if you get to that intersection and you look back to your left, that is a hill right there. You're blind within a couple hundred yards at the most. So that's why they said that they felt that it was much more suitable to do an improvement at the J. Yon intersection at Uvalde Highway. At the time, we had some other people that were in office and in other positions. Mr. Dees was the county administrator at the time. Mr. Wooten was commission chair at the time. We gave all the information over, which was basically an application to DOT to see what we could get out of them. They did award $50,000. That covered the engineering costs. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the total amount that it was. Mr. Hall, do you remember what the amount was?
In here, it's 700,000.
700
The project has a cost of around $700,000.
700,000, DOT was give 50 to 75.
All right, I was only told 50.
That's what they told me, 50.
Yeah.
Right. I do have in my office, and I'm going to give this information to Gary tomorrow, what the total amount was from Hofstetter and Associates. They were the engineers that came to that meeting. We invited them, given that we've got a good history with them. The whole intersection improvement was going to consist of a decel lane that would turn onto Uvalde Highway, And then we had an XL lane that would go, I believe that would be north on Uvalde Highway, allowing semis enough time to get up to speed before they could enter into traffic safely. And then there was also an XL lane that turned left coming back in towards town. And that would allow for semis to get up to speed before they merged in safely as well. So that's the history of it. It is a dangerous intersection. Like I said, living right there, I hear squalor tires, I hear horns. I know that Beasley is very concerned about the safety of not only his employees, but the community that travels up and down that road. And y'all know as well as I do, people fly down Uvalde Highway. But that's the history of it, best of my knowledge right now. Like I said, I've got more information I can turn over to you first thing in the morning. If y'all have any other questions though, I'll answer the best that I can this evening.
But I reckon you telling me that most of the work is going to be done on the state highway.
I
mean,
believe.
with the XL lane, the ones that we talked about that day.
Right.
We were going to widen where you come out to get onto the Uvalde Highway and where they turn to come off the Uvalde Highway to go down on the J.A. Yon route.
You're right. The least amount of work was actually going to be done on county
At
property.
the very least. Yeah.
And it was dirt work to fill in right there as you turn onto
Yeah.
Uvalde Highway on the corner where the golf course is. Now, where it became a little more intrusive was that there is a water main that's right there and it would have to be moved over. If y'all want to do anything about it, right now is a really good time to be discussing this because we've got the joint application in to get that water main extended down to Beasley. I don't know how that would play in.
Well, I had went to the road department today, and where they come off the Uvalde Highway, they got a hole about that deep and probably 2 foot wide, and where it's hit. And I had asked Robert if we had some crush and run or ground up concrete, anything to fill it up. Then when they turned out,
So they did fix that.
and they did, I had been home, I've been upstairs to let you go. So, did they put some on both sides, or did you happen to notice? You did that side,
Coming on
to the Yon road,
Yeah,
you seen?
I seen them do it.
Yeah, they were supposed to put some on both sides and all, but I reckon what I'm asking you is, this is going to be a state highway, and it's Beasley's project that they converted the trucks there, then the county, they want the county to pay for the work to be done on the state highway?
I can't really say that they want, I can't speak on their behalf. Okay, I can only tell you the project that occurred in my office, that's all. Does it benefit Beasley in any way? Only in safety. It benefits the commuters way more because what we're trying to do is provide ample space for these semis to have the turn radius they need to get into traffic, the amount of space they need to get up to safe speed, and into traffic. Does Beasley want this to happen? Yes, sir, they do. Strictly from a safety standpoint, though.
They said anything about contributing or what they would put?
The last conversation we had about it, they asked if there was any new word on it. This was months ago when we were going through, it was right there in December, January, so there were a lot of changes at that time. Since then, we've just kind of put it on the back burner. Like I said, when I gave all the information over to Doug, I don't know what he ever did on it, because that would be a county, it's a county road, state road thing there.
Well, I mean, we can't even mow the side of the state highway. We can't take our little mower and mow the state highway. Right. You can't get on it. So that's the point that I'm trying to come here.
No, you're hitting it on the head, yeah.
That we cannot, but I do, if we going to plan on doing something with the county of widening the Exon off the Uvalde Road and onto the Uvalde Road before the city, they've got a grant or trying to get a grant, I don't know if it's been approved yet.
Application is sitting in.
Sitting in hold. Then we probably would need at that time to move that water main if it's going to be done. And we need to be on the same page if we plan on doing something on the county part of the road.
Oh, I agree, you don't wanna pave over something that we're gonna have to wind
They're
up.
gonna have to dig back up or whatever, so I mean, we all need to work together and make sure we're on the same page. But, I mean,
I would just, my suggestion right now is, if y'all wouldn't mind possibly tabling this, allow me time to get with Gary and to give him all the information I have. And also there's, in terms of maybe finding some financial opportunity assistance to do this, maybe Gary and I can go back to the drawing board and see what we might be able to pull out. Surely everybody can agree that the intersection is a dangerous intersection, but we just need to figure out how we're gonna get to it again. And since the turn of the year, you know, some things could change. You know, we may find other opportunities that didn't exist a few months ago.
well, I mean, I hope you understand, because we're talking $700,000, and that's more than 2 meals.
Trust me when I say my mouth hit the floor when I saw that.
And
Senate.
I had no other idea when we met at the chamber's office that, and I really thought that DOT was talking about the XL lanes. That I really thought the state was, and then when I got this in my package, I was at Gary's office when I looked up this morning, because I was, you know, not thinking that it was going to fall back on the county.
I was surprised at such as you, because again, you're right. The majority of the improvement work would be done actually on the state itself. County, very minimal property involved in the improvement itself. But again, I think if Gary and I can have the opportunity just to throw our heads together on it and take some time to be able to do a little more research for you, we can approach this with a little more confidence.
Mr. Cruz, we put a Band-Aid on it today to try to start happening by this crushing run and all, because I live that way and I see it, and I know that I've had some complaints on it where the road was, and, but at this time, I'd like to give a motion that we table this to Gary and, you can get talked and, then bring it back to us. Maybe there'll be some grants or some money or something that DOT can help us with.
I'd like to look and see if we can't somehow tie this into a future project. That would be very opportune.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I got a motion, Jerry seconded, all vote. Next, Ms. Carlos gonna give us an update on collecting revenue.
Okay, curtailment of tax, we are going over this time last month. I have not heard back from the attorney that was supposedly served, nor the sheriff department. So, I think at this point, then I need to, sit down with Ms. Kennedy and the sheriff again and see, we tried it this way, this is what you advised us to do. Now it's been X amount of months and this has not happened. How do you want us to go forward? Since they'll be the one handling it, I think that they're
Well,
the ones that told me that.
It's been here before the commission after 6 months. We're talking about 2 years since they, well, the last payment we got from them was in October and November of 2013. And those 2 checks bounced. And as far as I know, there's nothing been done on those 2 checks that were bounced. Besides that, if you go back to August, that they made a payment, they paid tax in August of 2012. They did not pay again until July of 2013, so there's another 10 months. We're talking about almost 3 years of unpaid taxes that they've skated by with. And, I don't see us getting any closer to a resolution. The properties apparently has changed hands at some point during this time, so I don't know how that's going to play into going back and collecting, what was lost. I have a question as to why there haven't been any FIFAs put on file for these. So they could be a FIFA could be filed each month when they don't file the taxes.
You can't just put a 5A on record, you have to go through the whole process.
The ordinance says you can.
But you also have to, it's not just that simple as what that ordinance says. When we were talking about having to redo our ordinances, when they had changed the code section. I mean, you can't just simply proceed. Did she leave?
Yeah, she's back there behind me.
We Ms. Commissioner, when we looked at that, it's been so long since we looked at the FIFA angle. Refresh my memory as to what we had to do on that. Do you remember?
I know I've got, not on the hotel motel tax, I don't remember, because I remember I called you and, because I didn't really understand.
I know it's not something that we just keep to the side.
Well,
I'm sure you.
explain to me, the ordinance says the tax commissioner is hereby authorized to issue a FIFA for execution and levy to satisfy any amount of tax penalties, so forth and so on. It goes further to say, when it talks about doing action in court to collect the taxes, it further says that the bringing of such action shall not be a prerequisite for the issuance of a FIFA. That tells me that you can issue the FIFA without having to take it to court first. Is that right?
I wouldn't know, Mr. Silver.
Well, I mean,
The whole
that's-
ordinance, I mean, honestly, I believe everything you're saying, I do. But
But I-
without looking at the whole ordinance and having it in front of me, I honestly can't.
Well, I mean, I got it, that's what it says. I mean, I'll be glad to share that
I
with you.
believe it, you got the
But,
entire.
I just want to try to get this brought to a head. We've been dragging it around for, at least 6 months here, and we're talking about 34, 35 months worth of unpaid taxes. And, again, this is not just, taxes they're not paying. This is money they're taking from their people that stay there, that belong, that's the county's money that they're collecting from the people that stay at the hotel, and they're sticking it in their own pocket.
They done collected, but that's money.
They collected it in their
Okay, how much would you think this would be roughly? I know you might be $500, $600, $700, $1,000,
Here,
about
yeah,
15,
probably 17,000.
17,000.
Yeah, at very minimal. Let me give you, if you don't mind, here, you can look and see, this is a history here.
There again, we had to guesstimate.
Right.
Just to clarify for you guys, guesstimates, based on what you're doing.
I mean, when you take it, I know this is not sales tax,
Right,
but when you take and collect sales tax and don't send it in,
that's very, it's just like sales tax. Yeah, if you can just
well,
pass it
then,
down.
I mean, I know what they do. When it's sales tax, they come after 90 days and they bring the lock and the chain with them, and they change the door and lock it.
Right. I mean,
It doesn't go to the.
the ordinance says that the tax commissioner's got the authority to file suit in any court, state, local, wherever.
Okay, the you of it's probably the one, because this is new to me. But this doesn't go to the state, it comes straight to the county.
Right to the county.
Okay, the motel is supposed to take and do it quarterly, monthly?
Monthly.
Monthly?
They're supposed to file by the 20th of each month. It's a 5% tax that's added on to the hotel bill.
Okay. All right, I'm probably gonna ask a question that y'all can't answer, but you can't just tell me I don't know. But once, when it's sold, and it probably went from one patel to another patel, did it?
I don't know.
It went from a corporation to another corporation.
Okay, from one corporation to another corporation. Okay, whatever attorney closed this out, they're supposed to check all the taxes. That on
They
record.
don't-
But there was nothing on record.
They don't check the.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't have anything on record.
No, they have to check with Susie's office to see if there's any tax.
Okay, did they check, would you,
I've never had nobody check hotel motel tax.
One of the attorneys did.
They
it,
file.
represent. Just
There's-
because at one time, there was a local attorney that was representing one of the corporations that was going to buy. He contacted me, I gave him the total amount, because I was in contact with you, of the amount of taxes, and the sale was supposed to have gone through. The sale did not go through, and I believe that's when you had your tax sale and sold the property. She has her tax sale. Legally, you cannot collect hotel motel tax on top of property tax. They're totally separate.
okay, but it didn't sell it,
It didn't, no, it didn't.
no,
It didn't sell at the,
at the sale.
but the property taxes got paid, and property taxes are current at this time.
Okay, I understand that, but, I think what Ms. Carter was thinking, did it sold?
I thought it sold at the tax sale.
No, I put it up. We went through the portion to get it at the tax sale. But then they come through and paid it.
But it's changed hands since we've got.
Oh, yeah, it's changed.
This is the third, it's in the third hand now, and the
Yeah.
last,
It's went through a lawyer handled it.
well,
for
it's one of,
7 months.
the third one back filed bankruptcy, am I correct? And then the last two,
All my stuff's over there in the office right now, if you want me to go get it. But I was at a delinquent tax class in September, and they were talking about, all of our steps we can do for delinquent taxes. And I did ask again, I asked them, I said, is there anything that I can do for hotel motel taxes for this? And they said no, because this was a different tax. Plus, they told me, they said, I suggest that you may call if you got a sales tax division around your area. And I said, well, in Douglas that we do. Well, I called I think it was a Mr.
Fletcher's, when we done the, sale over the road department, when we get a sales tax number, and I think that it was, I talked to Mr. Fletcher over there, but that's been a year ago, along with 2 years.
Okay. He gave some names, and that was maybe had been tied up with this person to contact, and I think they may have been forward to Carla and Gary.
I guess a registered agent.
I think Morgan done that before she left. But, and another thing too, with all this motel stuff, when I asked the state, it's hard for them, they don't give me a lot of information because, and I don't have a lot of information from other tax commissioners, because a lot of tax commissioners don't collect the hotel motel tax. I know our ordinance says we do here in Jeff Davis County. So it's hard for me to get a lot of input to know what I need, how I need to handle
Okay,
this.
excuse me just a minute, and I hate to interrupt you. If they don't collect it, tax commissioners in other counties, who does collect it?
Well, it's different people, like, and a lot of them, when I did my surveys, a lot of them didn't answer back, but it's like different, if sometimes it's the town, maybe like the governing authority.
Some counties have like a chief financial officer, and they generally handle it in that case, rather than the tax commission.
Because, like I said, because I've reached out to other tax commissioners trying to get some feedback on what to do.
Okay, but if we was to put a FIFA on it, and it ever sold again, then they would have to come and do the records here and see there's a FIFA. I understand that we say that you need to read the whole thing, Ms. Carter does, to see what has to be done about a FIFA. But say we put it, and then there's nothing else they could do if they come back and said it wasn't legally, except throw it out, right? Would it be worth taking a chance? I mean, because if a bank's gonna loan money or somebody, they come see a FIFA on something, they gonna straighten it up before they loan money.
Well, when we called this lady out there at the place, which, we get, like I said, I think Carla's talked to her and everything. She tells us, she collects it, she tells this man, where's he from, Lawrence?
Didn't she say she would send it to the state? He said he was sending it off.
They said they're sending it to the state. Well, I asked
So
Mr.
then we tried to contact the state to see if it had been sent, was it like
Because I said, you know,
overpayments?
the state ain't gonna collect it because it's the county's money, because it's an extra 5% that they collect.
Well, first of all, we don't need to run that rabbit. If she sent it to the state, and she sent it to the wrong place and do all that, that it needs to be in-house here.
Well, that's why I called, and that's what I told them, but that's why I called the state. But they said that they was, when I talked with that Mr. Fletcher, I think it was, he said that they were, what they owed them, that they were current on. But I said that now these hotel motels, they're not.
Yeah, but see, a sales tax, you either go to the bank or you either email, you know, your check. And on the 20th of the month, it used to be, I don't know what it is now. The 20th of the month, if it wasn't in, the 21st, there was a penalty and all this, that, and other. But if it had went into the state just gonna keep that money. And really, we shouldn't have to take and spend time trying to find it, and if they did send it or didn't send it or whatever.
I agree.
If-
How long ago was that that y'all talked to them and they said that they would send it to the state? How many months ago was that? Several?
Yes, sir.
They've not filed returns since then. So they know what, you know, it's clear. They knew at that point when they had
Well,
that conversation,
That's what I
they
was,
should know the state, but they haven't filed returns since
that was
then.
my next thing was, if y'all talk to them and they knew they sent it to the state, and they ain't been sending you none since that day, they don't plan on paying.
Right, absolutely.
Because they would have said, okay, we don't send this to the state no more, these people straighten us out. And if they want to be honest about it, then they would start sending the county the check. And if they hadn't, then they don't plan on paying it anyway till we do something.
Well, they got to be a law against it.
Yeah, you can't take money.
I can't see why this isn't a pure case of theft. I mean, it's your
That's why,
money.
you know, and Mr. So we talked about this the last time, that's why, you know, this board advised me, I have to do what they tell me.
Mhm.
They advised me to go talk to the sheriff and the assistant DA, and that's what I did.
Okay.
And what I'm doing is following what the sheriff and the assistant DA asked me to do. Now, at this point, since it's been 2 months and we haven't heard from that one, the other one came back, this one has not.
Mhm.
This board tells me to go back and say, just tell them, okay, this is what's happened, it's been this month, what's our next step? I have to do what the sheriff and the ADA tells me legal-wise,
Mhm.
based on their direction.
Right, and that's why I'm here to find out what our next step should be.
That's what I believe
I
our
know,
next step should be, is, you know,
she's,
y'all-
Carla's hands are sitting there waiting for direction. You know, it's continued to drag on.
Well, I had thought, you know, we would put it on this month, and some Derek does it every month, but I had thought by this month we would have had that information back
Mhm.
from the Fulton County reports that we haven't heard back.
No, does not, as a corporation, don't they have a registered agent with the state?
Yes, they do.
Shouldn't they be served?
That's who I said it serves to.
Huh?
Registered agent was the attorney, that's who I
Okay.
served.
And so, and that's still waiting on
I
Fulton
haven't got
County to.
service, I haven't got service back,
I'll say whatever you need to do.
I agree with you to get this to, I mean, it's kind of like the city thing, either we can or we can't, let's be done with it.
and I'll get back with them. We're supposed to have jury trials this week.
Whatever we gotta do.
Cancel, so
Okay.
Ms. Kennedy should be available tomorrow.
Okay. You'll let me know what you're doing. Okay.
I'll see if I can't meet with her and the sheriff.
Right, thank you.
Let me ask you something before we move on. Is some of the motels paid?
The other motels are paid.
It's just this one.
Just this one, and, you know, we've had bounce checks from them in the past. Before this, they did make them good. We had another situation in the past where they missed 3 or 4 months, and they caught it up. But, you know, it's been, I said, if Carla and they talked to they both talked to them and told them, you know, their excuse was to send it to the state. And like one said, and they've known since then that they don't send it to the state, and they're intentionally keeping that money there. It's not a mistake. You know, this is something that's got an intentional behind it.
But it goes back from August of 12 to now in 2015.
Right.
You got different owners, I understand that, and I think it's 3 different owners.
Right, it was
I'm pretty sure it is.
It was 10 months
I
from,
think the third owner back in 2012 filed bankruptcy.
yeah, at one time we had an agreement, Carl, there was an agreement when the bank in Uvalde kind of took over, and they were supposed to, there were arrangements to catch up property taxes,
I think that was made with you, wasn't it, Susan?
and that there was supposed to be payments made, the bank was gonna make them, and I think they made one, maybe two payments, and then it quit. So, you know, it's been rocking on for quite a while. The other thing that is when I talked to the Department of Community Affairs up in Atlanta, because they're the ones that administer the program for the state. And I got, you know, I just was acting, trying to see what, you know, they knew other places that faced problems that we had and what had been done. And, you know, we talked over some things, we got a lot of things straightened up with them up there, to get where we're supposed to be with them at the state level. But one thing that they did, you know, they did say that if this didn't get cleared up, and they said soon, that the state would come in and revoke our authority to collect any hotel tax. So, you know, the two that are paying, you know, the state would come in and tell them, you know, or tell us, our current ordinance is invalid, we can't collect tax anymore. So if we, that's why, you know, I'm kind of feel the urgency that we've you know, worked for 6 months now, and we're no further along than we were before. You know, we need to kind of pick up the pace on it now. That's just my request to the commissioners, if we, some way we can kind of expedite this thing going forward.
Okay, don't want to be the wet dog dead, and I want to make sure I'm clear. We, once that a bank, Omaha Bank in Uvalde paid a couple of payments. Am I correct?
Was it Omaha? I think
No,
that's
it was, what, Montgomery?
Montgomery County Bank.
Bank.
Oh, okay. That's one thing.
And you know, and the other thing, I mean, you can do,
Yeah.
I'm kind of the thought that, you know, we need to throw everything out, and if we get our hands slapped by going overstepping a little bit, that, you know, maybe that's something. But they're operating under the banner of Jameson Inns. I don't see why we can't make sure Jameson Inns is aware of this situation. They could bring some pressure in, I think, on, to the property owner that he better get it straightened up or lose his franchise. You see my thought there. And I'm for taking every shot we can where we can find it.
Well, I don't think we can do anything, any illegal that they've already done.
Right.
So we'll find out and get to work on it and get back with you.
Thanks.
Do we need to put it in a motion, what we want to do, or what do we, we're good?
Just discussed it. I was just giving you updates and now we're moving forward.
So next, we are to approve or deny a letter of support for Big Still Creek Watershed Plan grant application. Y'all have that?
Soil and water conservation.
There's something we've been doing every year.
Soil and water conservation, like Ms. Jenny's office over here, they take and write grants through the state. We signed it last year and didn't get one. We signed it the year before. I think we got one 4 years ago. Am I close? We got one time. And they help people that the tiller gets there, and they do some checking and about the fish and different things on it. And the most that we can have in it is around $1,000 a year. $2,200.
Over a 3-year.
Over a 3-year period. And,
It's
so,
actually budgeted for it too.
yeah, I make a motion to accept it and go with it.
All vote.
Yeah,
Next, on the agenda, public comments.
Yeah, I got one.
And it's there behind Brenda's property. I know, Mr. Hall said he was gonna send someone out, or has talked about sending someone out to look at it. And I'd like to know, did someone come out and look at that property?
No, sir, that we had took, and we gotta get in touch with the Corps engineer. I went out and looked at the property, but it's going to be on private property where we have to do a lot of the work. But first of all, we gotta get someone from Corps engineer to come out and see what can be done. Have y'all ever had anyone from them to come?
No, he sent me a certified letter telling me I need to call the Corps of
You
Engineers.
have to, we can't
We
call
can't.
for you.
Hold on. Corps of Engineer almost laughed me off the phone. They said if the county's gonna be doing the work, the county is the one should call him.
But we don't know that we're gonna be doing the work until you get them in there to assess the situation. I mean, I talked with Janice over at the Department of Agriculture, and she said they wouldn't even talk to us if we called, because it's not our property.
It's certainly not mine.
It's not mine
Well,
It's not
I've looked at the plats, and every one property adjoins another, and there's no county property out there that I can find
There's 30 feet between each of our properties.
that the county's got a deed to.
The county must own because I
They
don't.
can't find it down there.
Who's
I mean, I've been down there to the clerk's office.
He's got a copy of it.
All right, there's a 30-foot right of way
Yes, sir.
between everybody's lots.
Yes, sir. She's got a flat here and here. I don't even think y'all asked for these last time I was here. Here's the 16 people here. I'm here for them, asking y'all, please help clean this ditch out. A lot of them's not able. Half of them's in wheelchairs to even come up here. But their yards are being flooded just like all of us. I'm not here for just myself. I'm here for those people too.
I'm gonna keep one of those up. Does this plat here, I don't see where it shows a 30-foot right of way. Maybe.
Excuse me. That's highway here.
Yes.
Okay. Our property comes from this point to that point. Now you've got 30 feet from here to here, going to Mr. What is the guy's name, Brenda, that owns the pond?
Sorry.
Robin Rouse.
We gotta measure it, we measured it.
Okay.
And it
30 feet
stops
there.
before that. It's not-
Okay, y'all got plats where that it shows that there's a 30-foot right of way or either county property, right?
Yes.
All I
Have
know is
you got it with you?
Let me see if I got that.
So this one doesn't show anything. Oh, you?
Yes, John,
Yeah.
tell them we got the measuring tape and measured it.
Do what?
Tell them we got the measuring tape and measured it all, but it stops.
Because Gary, didn't you go get them out of
I've been
everything?
down there, and they said they can't find any county property out there that adjoins in any of this.
He's got the same thing I've got. But according to, there should be maps here, they just can't find them. That shows the creeks and streams and the rivers. Like I said, the Corps of Engineers, when I talked with them, Bill Rutledge is who I talked with. And he told me, he said, whoever's gonna be doing the work is the person that should have been calling me, not someone. He said, as long as I've been in office, I've never had a homeowner call me. Now, before that, I have already talked to the environmentalists, the EPA. If it was wetlands, they would have never let them build homes in there. I know he spoke about it might be wetlands.
I checked that, and it's not listed as wetlands.
Exactly. I'm trying to get.
The only problem we have is that we can't find that it's county property. any county property in there.
I also found out the second road, which, I think you live on, Brad, right? Okay. That's the county road. It goes there to where Dr. Schuman's old house is.
Yes.
So I understand that's the county road. There was never a drainage pipe put in there. Hadn't it been, the water wouldn't back up on us. So through all that, when they built that pond up there, now it was built right on top of the creek,
Who built the pond?
Schuman's.
Well, that's two roads.
You're talking about across from your place, across the highway?
No, back over behind my place.
His place.
First one is, Montgomery. Yeah,
Sally
Montgomery,
Montgomery.
which is Bobby Cox built years ago.
But back then, I don't think the laws had passed. But Schumann knew the law had passed and when he built that house of his and built that pond. And the county allowed him to do that.
Did y'all say this show right well?
They ain't no right away. And what Gary and all that, them on his desk the other day, and it don't show any right of way or, what it have to be is 30 foot
And that's what it is. It's
measured out and, you know, deeded over to the county, just like we went to get a road, to build a road somewhere. And it would be on record up in the office if it was deeded out.
And Linda McNeely just had her survey out there, and her property comes right up to the creek line, same as mine. And then from my property line to Mrs. Peoples' property line, I took a tape and measured it. There's 30 feet from there across to Miss Peoples' property.
That's the old ditch what's already there.
Been cleaned out before.
Yeah, also Miss Peoples told me it had been cleaned out before years ago.
I know, it'd been dug before because
That's what she
if it
told
wasn't,
me.
it wouldn't be a ditch there stopping.
Exactly.
They said that it was on my property, but it is not on my
No,
property.
it's not on her property. We first initially
We got
thought
a
that
measuring
she
tape,
was,
measured it.
that it was on her property. It's not on her property. Neither is it on my property. I thought my property ran right down to the creek. You know, when me and you first talked about that, Steve, I told you I thought my property ran 22 feet into those woods. Well, it don't. The property line's right here, where the state come in and dug, it's right before you get in where they dug. Because I know we talked about getting that cleaned out, and the deal was, if we got the state to come in and clean out their part, then the county would come in and finish the rest. I don't think he was around when all that was going on.
No, this only been a year. This has been going on before my time.
Exactly.
The last time we talked, last month, now, I was under the impression that it was on y'all's land, and I mean, what Gary was telling y'all was correct, but if it is not on y'all's land,
It
if
is
it is
not
needed,
on mine, is all I can tell you.
if it's deeded to us, then I don't know, but I ain't seen that deed. But, I agree with y'all, I mean, it is a problem, I live right there with you, so, I know, look,
Yeah, that same creek runs right on into the road that goes to Beasley's.
that's correct.
Was they,
We have to keep it opened up because the beavers have it up. And we opened it up when all this water was there, and we thought that would help. We put in and went throughout, it goes on to the Bell Road. But they went in there and cleaned that. We thought, well, get that opened up, that'll drain that thing up there. But I believe it stopped up between the old Douglas, is that the old Douglas Road? I believe it stopped up between there and the Sackett Road. They've got it blocked up in there somewhere, and that's why it's backing up on them.
Beyond,
See, also there's-
humans is fun, sorry.
Also, there's what they call, from the environmentalists, a slow law. That means if somebody dams something up and that water has to go around, it slows down the stream, you see what I'm
Right.
saying?
And that's what's happening.
So that's what's happened. That by them damming up that creek. Now, Mr. Riles, he did his right, well, he didn't do it, his father actually done it. They put a pipe in one end of it and a pipe in the other end. Well, throughout the years, as he aged, he just didn't keep it clean. So trees and stuff has grown up. Now, that's on where she lives. That's what's backing up the water back on her property.
And it's affecting the community behind me, right? All them 16
All them
people?
signatures that you got is the people behind her. And this Peoples is the only one that's on my side. But every one of them has, begged and pleaded with me to tell me, please try to help, whatever you can do, try to do it.
Okay,
That's why I'm here.
you want to bring the water across the Douglas Highway and down by your house and carry it into that,
Into the road Steve's talking about,
The-
back where it
Douglas
goes.
Highway?
Yeah.
It goes into
Doug?
Beasley Pond.
It would go through Beasley's Pond before it goes across there.
Yeah. It's got to go, is that Second Road or First Road?
The second road.
It's gotta go across both of them. Well, what he's saying is, it does have a place to go across first, but when it goes across first, it has to start bypassing these two ponds.
Exactly.
To get to the creek that runs to.
It's kind
He's
of
right,
a
you must walk in there, you must
situation
walk in
like we
there and
got
see
up here where we are, we're on the city, it's kind of a situation, you got a ditch,
but
it
now,
actually needs to be opened up.
okay, but now this one up here, at Hazlehurst Mills, and it goes in behind,
Y'all get it.
yeah, and then the one that comes down Curry Street and crosses over by Hazlehurst Mills and comes down by Old Wooten, then it went on the same way, it hits the same ditch that the Baxley Highway on the right-hand side going toward Rhonda Washington, and that water comes under, down through the middle of Beasley's lumberyard, crosses over the Wooten Road.
And my Beasley's house.
No, I'm talking about,
Talking about Thompson Hardwood.
yeah, Thompson Hardwood, now, we talking about this one over here.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
it-
Now, see, over Janet's, the county signed it, you probably remember this year, and I got the paperwork, that the Corps engineer come in, dug it, and built it.
Right.
Then they turned it over to the county, and we have to upkeep it.
Yeah.
But now, nothing have I ever seen, and Miss Janice, had the paperwork on it. And I got a copy of it and all, and we went in there and dug it down towards Glen Nathan's house and cleaned it out, and we put two big pipes in it because it was low.
And, that's what I'm saying, we got to go through this legal standpoint. This here actually probably needs to be something like that, to get that water, to get around that pond down, to get it. And it's something we're gonna have to, just like that one, every so many years, we got to go in there and run that track hose down all the way through that thing, open that beaver dam and stuff, through Bangstone's place down there, right on through.
Well, you know how it goes, Steve, it goes there where, going like where the VFW club is, I think they call that the old Grail Road.
Old Douglas
Oh,
Road,
yeah.
yeah, I've done drove through there and looked at it, and we actually went in and opened up them pipes and
Yeah, I
we
see we
did the
don't put
bell
all that
road.
out.
But where's the actual ditch at, the old ditch y'all talking about? 'Cause I can't see the old ditch in there.
You got to get out and
You
walk
got
down
to,
through.
you got to walk through there to see it.
When I did, it was real wet, and the water actually,
I'm talking about on your side, on mine, your side.
Right back of my property, there's my property line. It's, like I said, it's right up next to my property line. Where you see that culvert that comes up from under the Douglas Highway,
Mhm.
that's the creek stream right there. It's actually a stream.
actually after it gets out from his house, it widens up, and it widens up because it's not flowing from there onto the Douglas Road.
Right, well, I mean, what I'm looking at through there, I mean, you would have to,
You'd have to get an escalator to clean it out. That's how many years it's been.
Yeah, you'd have to harvest the timber or throw it away or whatever, they'd have to be something.
Y'all can have every tree on my side you want. I tell you right now, you have mine.
They're not no real big,
Well, it is
Ain't no
behind,
problem.
and Joe and Miss Nichols there, that's like, you have to
Well,
get
there's
some big
probably,
trees out of there.
let's see, no, there's probably, I went in there, when we initially talked, me and Steve talked, I went in there and flagged all those trees, and they're maybe that big around. The biggest one is actually a couple pines, but other than that, they're just like scrub brush. But you would need an escalator to go in there, like Steve said, to open that up wide enough for that will run through there.
that's on the
But,
street.
but what I wanna know, and you pass around that thing, have y'all seen this 30-foot deed that's deeded to the county? Just
Have
don't
I
take
ever
the right
seen
way.
it? No.
Have you checked with Janice over at the conservation place?
No, I hadn't. I was told that if I went to, I'm trying to think where they told me to go. That they would have maps of all this. Now deeds, I don't know. I would have to go and see if there's a deed that actually the county owns. But like, when I was talking to him, you know, the law of the land is common sense. And I don't own it, Ms. Peebles don't own it, neither does Brindley. So then it belongs to Jeff Davis County. It's got to. None of us own it.
Well, first of all, we're gonna have to get Ms. Carla to check the titles on all of them and see that maybe whoever joined Ms. Brenda give 15 foot, the person on the other side over give 15 foot. And we'll have to make sure that that's recorded, surveyed out, and then somewhere.
Unless it already is, why,
Yeah.
why they're like.
He had asked for us to sign that easement for him to come in. All these people have signed that easement to come in on their property.
To,
To clean the ditch out,
Yes, sir.
Just to open it up.
open it up.
Well, that's two different things.
but that's two different things I've been saying that, because now, if we, anybody would, if they got a water problem in the yard, would sign the easement for us to come do the ditch. But we
But
got,
if they had 30-foot right of way there, somebody got to know.
somebody's gotta know about it, it's gotta be recorded somewhere.
That's right.
Because when I contacted the state and asked them how did they get their permit to dig, 811. That's what he told me. That's all you gotta call. And like I said, when I got that letter from him, certified letter, stating that, I had to call the Corps of Engineers. I did call a lot of them people 2 weeks prior before you had even asked me to. But
Well,
then you
I'm
called
going
them.
by what Janice told me.
I don't know who Janice is.
She's over the Department of Agriculture.
Well, over here, in the FFA building, soil conservation, if you
Yeah.
walk in the door, go to the end of the hall, take a left down there on the left. And she might have a copy of something from
Okay.
But I mean, I talked to her and she said that they wouldn't even talk to me because it's not county property. Now you're telling us it is county property. And once Carla proves that it is, then we're in a different, we can do something. But until we get that,
I mean,
That's where
another
we're at.
thing I'd like to ask you is why am I doing all this legwork? Isn't that what they hired you for?
what legwork is that?
I'm making all these calls to these people.
Well, you're the one who wants something.
Yeah, I want something done.
And I went
It's not
over
wrong
there
with
and
me.
she told me straight up that they wouldn't even talk to me, that you had to do it, so therefore you got the letter.
Well. the
Now,
guy who
wait, let
engineered
us
said
prove that
you
this
should
property
call.
is the county's property, and then we can move forward with it. But accusing me of not doing anything,
I mean,
I don't know what that's for.
We got to find out if it's, you know, if it's county property, then we have the right to go in and do it.
I know, I've been making all these calls. I've been doing all the legwork. I've yet to see him do anything.
Well, he called and they told him that they could tell.
Well, I went and looked up the plats, I went over there and talked to her,
Well,
to
I got
find out what I'm
plats right here.
supposed to do.
I've done the same thing you've done.
Well,
Everything you've done.
I went
I've
down
done
there,
right
and they
here.
couldn't find anything
I was
where the
2 weeks
county
ahead
owns
of
property
you.
over there.
But that plat doesn't say that there's a, if you look where there's a Georgia Power right away, it'll say an 80-foot RW, Georgia Power, and there's nothing that you showed me when it came past, that there is a right of way that is the county's. We got to make sure that the county.
That's understandable, I understand that.
And then, you know, I don't think Miss Peoples or some of the elderly people that's in there that you're talking about, that they know who dug the ditch or when it was put in or anything.
She knows, she told me, she said that when they built that road up, that they asked her. if they
Okay,
could come
now
on
they, we
her
talking about
property.
they the state or they the county? The county?
She said that, she said on the private
Well,
call,
I called,
it was on the commission that they, that's what she told me.
Well, then, I mean, that's another thing that, you know, we probably can get some information from Clyde.
Yeah.
Did they do it, did they survey it out, get 30-foot right of way between it, or whatever, rather than have to go up and start looking through it. So if you go up there and look through the thing, it might say that his pin is here, and 280 degrees or feet down, there's another pin, and then it's still, if there's not somewhere that the right of way's been deeded to the county and signed over to the county, then we still wouldn't mind.
Whether it is or not, if we're all willing, and I'll assure you, these people that I've got signatures will sign it over to the county if that's what it takes.
Why don't you let us check in on it and all that, quick, if we find something, we'll try to get that taken care of one way or the other.
Appreciate that, Jerry. I know you were there back with
Right.
our county commissioner.
Why don't you let us check that out and see, because it do need to be taken care of, I know it's a problem.
Well, like I said, I went and talked with Buck after getting that letter, and he asked me to go over and talk with him, and I told him I have no ill will against him. I just asked for something to get done. I'd like to know where my tax dollars go, and I pay taxes. I'd like to, get it taken care of.
And I agree with
When
you,
I got
so,
there,
but then everybody in the county that's got a mud hole in the yard or water, then if we done it for y'all and it's not a right of way and it's not county property, then we obligating ourselves to anybody that's got a water
That's all
problem, go
I'm
to their house
trying to do,
and
is to
fix
make
it.
sure we're doing the right thing.
he said.
I don't have anything against doing it, I'm just saying, I have to follow what I'm supposed to do.
But
And
I
that's
told you
exactly what
that
I'm
day to
doing.
go over there and tell you that the rains is coming. You need to get the water to where it'll flow. You was not there. You was gone for 2 weeks or a week. Your secretary, I assume that's her. She said that you was gone for a week for training. She also made a remark that y'all was not gonna clean out the ditch.
Well, not until we find out that it's county property.
Well, that should be you telling me that, send me a letter or call me and say, this is what's going on, this is what we're doing, and we'll get back with you as soon as we find out what we're finding out.
Well, I went and looked, and we can't find that it's county property.
Why don't we just go ahead and get the car and check it out?
That's what she's gonna do.
And we'll get right on to find out what we can do. Fair enough?
That's all we can do. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, Mr. Gary, Mr. Paul, he went over to, and when Miss Janice told him that, that's all he knew to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Because Miss Janice knows more about it than any of us, because she's been on that soil conservation thing for years.
and I can talk about that, and
And
she's.
you need to go in there and check with her, you might find something.
Call what she told me.
She's the one that has to
See,
get
there
on
again,
the
I
one
need to
that we
ask
do
you
this.
this question, is that my job to do, or is that his job?
Well, she told me
I've
that.
already
Depends
been
on
over
whose
there.
property it is. If it belongs to the county, that's his job.
But we don't know that yet.
We don't know that yet.
That's what I'm going.
I don't mind asking Miss.
And last month, we didn't think it was, when you was here, really, I mean, we didn't think it was the county. But if it is, it is.
Like I said,
If it is, that'd be a good thing.
and then
we
we
do
sign,
something.
easement, sign, easement, go in there with machinery, which I took care of all that, and that's what you had asked me to do, that they would have to sign. You also said, well, if we do it for you, we gotta do it for everybody else. And remember, I told you, it's not just a problem with the water. When we have all this water, you got sewer water now floating up out of septic tanks going into that stream, creek. So now that's leading down the creek. You got kids that go start playing in these creeks, you're gonna have a big problem on your hands. It's just, we need to take, I'm just saying, it needs to be taken care of as soon as possible.
I'll try to call Miss Janice tomorrow. Find out, see if I can find out anything. Let's see, 'cause, she might have some, I don't know.
Well, I talked with her, she did, I just followed what she told me to do.
I mean, we first got to find out what we can do. And Miss Paul
Find
will
out,
get on it.
whose property it is, if there's 30-foot right of way, then we need to know that.
I was kind of upset that they went out there and dug these ditches behind Steve's property, got that taken care of. That was private property. But now this property we're talking about now is not private property. It's got to belong to the county because it don't belong to me, and it don't belong to the people.
Well, we have to validate that.
So I will tomorrow, I will mercy myself, since I've done the rest of the work, I'll go up there and check with it and see.
I'll give her a call.
And like I said, it needs to get done before we start getting these rains again. But I'm just, I'm asking y'all, please do something with it. It's not just me. It's all these other people too are begging for someone to do something with it. I know now, one of the guys told me that when Odin Wooten went in there and dug that ditch back to his field, so he drained all that water now on top of us again. So there's another problem we're having. But till that ditch is cleaned out, we're gonna continue having this problem.
We'll get it checked out.
All righty.
Appreciate it.
Any more public comments? We adjourn this meeting.
No, I don't have one large enough. I don't have one large enough.
Okay.
I'll go over there and see if they've got them out there.